Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Baseball FM. As always, I am Frank, here with Max. This is the inaugural Red Sox Phillies podcast. We will be doing this once a week, presumably every Thursday, Wednesday, Friday, somewhere around there. Um, and this will be just about, our favorite teams. Myself, the Red Sox fan, Max, the Phillies fan, and sort of give us a chance to give a little bit more emotional um, therapy, a little bit emotional rants, get stuff off our chest, whatever you want to call it. Um, yeah, this is something that I've been looking forward to, honestly, Max, because I got some things that I want to get off my chest, and I think we got to sort of feel this out as we go along. I'm just gonna close my door really quick because my cat just went out, so I'll let you talk for a second.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, this is a new thing we're doing. It's exciting because, as you all know, if you all been tuning in, Frank likes to rage about the Red Sox and how good they can be, but mostly how bad they can be. Me with our struggles. We've both been having sort of similar seasons so far. We both started off the year not very good, and our manager is gone, and now we got new interim managers. So some similarities. Obviously, there's a lot of contrasts. We will get to those specifically on the roster,
Yeah,
specifically the GM, and specifically the ownership.
all right,
But
let's.
here's the one thing that we both agree on: Citizens Bank is great. I've only been there a few times. Fenway Park is clearly and easily the best stadium, not just in baseball, but in professional sports in general, in the world.
As
Nothing
long
beats it.
as you're not sitting under the overhang in the old blue seats, there's not a single bad seat in the place for Fenway Park.
I don't think those are necessarily bad seats. Yeah, they're uncomfortable, but you're sitting in seats that people have been sitting on for almost 100 years. Those seats have been there since 1936.
Yeah,
That's cool, but when you're there for an inning, it's like, oh God, I'm going to die in here.
exactly. But hey, Fenway Park's great. Red Sox are not, even though Ranger Suarez is pitching an excellent 2 and 2/3 so far. I will
And
say
Jesus
this.
Luzardo is
I will
pitching an
say this.
excellent
I, I
two
will
and two thirds.
I will sort of wishcast slash predict that this will become sort of a watch along as we sort of talk about the Red Sox and Phillies. So, whatever floats your boat as a viewer, whatever butters your bread, we've got it going on. So, I figured we would start off with a little bit of statistical contextualization here. Um, I took some I took some screenshots of the best performing Red Sox and Phillies players, both on the pitching and hitting side. I figured we'd do a player of the week for both teams, and we sort of talk about that a little bit, as well as what the overall landscape of, in terms of team records, batting records, pitching records, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, um, let's talk about the Red Sox first. No surprise there. Um, as of right now, I did not take any screenshots of the batters, unfortunately, but I know that Rafaela over the last week or so has been at a 1059 OPS. He is the best Red Sox batter of the last week. No surprise here either. Kyle Schwarber is the best. He's at an 1100 OPS. And yeah, I think they've been both putting together extremely important performances. We're talking about two guys that basically won the first two games of this series. Rafaela, of course, hitting the two-run homer in Game 2, and Schwarber hitting the leadoff bomb in Game 1, setting the tone there, and letting the Phillies get to the insurmountable lead of 1-0. And yeah, Max, what are your initial thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I agree. Sadon has been on a tear right now. He is one of my favorite, if not my current favorite, Red Sox outside of Peyton Tolley. So I'll go favorite pitcher on the Red Sox right now, Peyton Tolley. Favorite position player slash hitter on the Red Sox right now is Sadon. I don't think for me it's not really particularly close. I do like Yoshida. And I do like Will Abreu. Those guys have been very good. Um, Trevor Story, actually, to his credit, hit a home run last
Mm-hmm.
night
Mm-hmm.
against Andrew Painter. I think Andrew Painter is the only player in Major League Baseball, as it stands right now, that can even allow a home run for Trevor Story to hit. So there is that. So congratulations to you, Trevor Story. Um, I thought too, we were talking about this a little bit, both a little bit on this podcast, definitely outside of the podcast, but Brian Bale actually looked pretty decent. In game one, he hit through 6 innings, only giving up 1 run. That was, of course, the ground rule double from Bryson Stott, but he still looked pretty well. He still looked pretty good. He was able to keep it on the ground a bit, not too much on the strikeout side, but he was able to locate his pitches well. He got Brandon Marsh and Kyle Schwarber even to roll their arms a bit. You know how you like get they get under it. It's just an easy ground ball to Trevor Story or Marcelo Meyer. So yeah, those are my thoughts right now. Not just on the Phillies Red Sox series, but on the Red Sox in general. Um, I do know, and we spoke about this before. There has been some interesting comments made by your own Sam Kennedy, who I think is the president of baseball operations for the Red Sox, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, what's they're still doing what they got to do on the PR side of things. I'm curious what your thoughts are on the PR side of
Yeah.
things.
I guess we can talk about that now. Why not? Uh, so Sam Kennedy, his job description, I believe, is he's the CEO of, more or less the Fenway Sports Group. That's the the Red Sox branch of the Fenway Sports Group, I should say. Of course, owned by John Henry. Um, oh, we got. Hold on, could get something. Could be cooking here. I was. The fuck is that? It's just lollygag. That could have easily been a triple. Narvaez hitting one the opposite way, getting under a
Oh,
half sort of diving
I'm a
Adolis
little ahead of you
Garcia
then. I'll
there.
let you commentate.
Yeah, Marsh doing a good job of cutting the ball off after it gets by Garcia, but Narvaez just sort of settling for a double there. I think he could have made it definitely a tougher play at third if he wanted to, but regardless, um, so Sam Kennedy, the CEO of the Red Sox portion of the Fenway Sports Group, basically he's just there to be a meat shield for John Henry. John Henry of course doesn't do interviews anymore. He'll only talk to the mouthpieces. Very nice sacrifice bunt by Caleb Durbin there to get Narvaez over to third. Um, yeah, so John Henry doesn't do interviews anymore. He just talks to some mouthpieces at the Boston Globe every now and then, and only really if something major happens, like firing Alex Cora. He gave a quote there, but yeah, I mean, it's nothing but platitudes and empty jargon that we're kind of used to from Sam Kennedy. I think every Red Sox fan in the world is sick of this man because he really only comes on the screen when something bad happens, and he's there to make excuses. Um, in so many words, he called the Red Sox, a very disappointing and frustrating team, which I think sort of we're all sort of in agreement with. But like, what are you gonna do about it? Like, it's like that hot dog guy meme where it's like, we're all trying to figure out who did this, right? Like this is you. This is you who did it. Although Sam Kennedy, another lovely IKF, empty out, doing absolutely nothing productive as always. Um, yeah, just
The
just
St.
another
Blue
sort
Jays
of
IKF.
yeah, just sort of another empty statement from a guy who really doesn't hold any real power, and he's only paid very handsomely, I might add, to be the meat shield for John Henry. So, Breslow basically recycling the same talking points that he was saying early in the season, which is to say, like, this is how we imagine winning this one single scenario that if we don't do it, then we're not going to win any games, and putting way, 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 way too much emphasis on we're just oh my god. This yeah, Duran bounces back to Lizardo and Phillies are out of a no out runner in scoring position situation just like that because that's just how our season goes. Every fucking. Oh my god.
Easy claps.
Listen, he didn't say anything of substance, neither did Breslow. We can move on. Like, this isn't really news at this point. It's like when they do say it,
Uh,
they're not saying anything of substance.
every time they say something, I kind of just want to hear what you say because it's
I
honestly,
the
it
thing
fills me
is
with joy.
the thing is Max, if this was the first time, I would have a stronger emotional response to this. But the thing is, they've been saying this since Mookie Betts was traded. Like, this is some version of this or another. Like, oh yeah, we're disappointed in the team. We're gonna try to get better, and we believe that this team is capable of winning. We believe this team is capable of winning a World Series, even though they clearly don't believe it. Otherwise, they would invest more in actual talent. And, I'm a little worried as to what happens when Breslow inevitably gets fired sometime probably after this year because nobody's going to want to take this spot. Nobody's going to take his seat because he's just simply not given the resources to match the expectations of this team. Not to say that he's done particularly well with the, tools that he's been given.
Mhm.
So, it's sort of like the blame is for everyone. It's for the players, for the coaches, front office, ownership, like just everybody is to blame except for the fans because the fans can do no wrong because, we're fans. We're powerless. That's what we do. Um just to round out the stats section, since the beginning of May, Red Sox are 5-5 and the Phillies are 7-4. So pretty close. Um the Red Sox as a team are hitting at a 684 clip since 684 OPS, I should say, since the beginning of the month, and the Phillies have a 717 OPS, 290 OBP as a team, and 324 OBP for the Red Sox. So, two teams that are doing their damage in two different ways. I think we would both agree. Um, Max, what do you make of the Phillies' sort of offensive blueprint right now, such as it exists?
I think we've been killing it in some respects. I think we talked about this
Trade
last
time
podcast,
announcing our
but
story there.
yeah, but last podcast, but Bryce Harper, I think, has really settled down. I think we've seen a lot of players, not just players on the Red Sox or on the Phillies, but I think just players in general who've played on the World Baseball Classic and have had that little hangover to start off the season. I think now he's coming into his own. I think Bryce Harper is looking really, really well now. He's hitting, I think, 266 with 10 home runs. I don't have like his OPS or slugging percentage on hand right now, but his baseball savant is looking a lot better. So he's playing a lot better. This series so far, we'll see how this game goes, but this series so far has not been entirely great. I think he's been like 0 for 7 or 0 for 8 so far this season, this series. Um, but I think it doesn't discount the fact that he's obviously been seeing the ball a lot better. He's quietly having a really good season so far. I mean, obviously, not much is being discussed about that, but he's having a pretty darn good season. And I think Trey Turner is to some respects too. Alec Bohm, while his average is still, under $2, I think he's been seeing the ball somewhat better, as we spoke on the last podcast. Over the weekend, when Elmo was on the broadcast with
New
McCarthy and John
Yorkers.
Kruk, Elmo wished for 2 home runs, and he got 2 home runs from Alec Bohm. So maybe we need Elmo in there more often.
Yeah,
I love that Elmo's a Phillies fan. That just makes Grouch
Groucho's
the.
probably a Red Sox fan. As
I was
Ranger
gonna say
Suarez
Mets.
strikes out Schwarber for the second time tonight on a sinker, up and away.
Well, his career
Beautiful.
numbers actually. Ranger has Suarez career numbers against him. He's got his money. I think now he's over
Yeah.
7 with 3 strikeouts now
Not gonna lie,
against Ranger.
after his first few starts, I was doubting Rangers' capabilities. I thought what he was doing was unsustainable, but boy, am I wrong. This man just knows how to pitch.
Okay, well, I expect an apology because you have
I,
said so many
I
things about
apologize.
this.
I am on my knees. I humbly apologize to Ranger Suarez because this man, he's a pitcher. Bayo could learn a thing or two from this guy.
Well, hey man, I told you. When he started off the year, I'm like, Ranger ain't like this. He never was like this on the Phillies.
Yeah,
We never treat him like this.
of course
But now
one
he's
of
looking better.
one of the preeminent playoff pitchers of all time as well.
Yep.
Something that people seem to forget about him. Not that we're going to make it to the postseason anyway for him to be able to use that, but yeah, I mean, I'm happy with Ranger. I'm happy with. There's a certain amount of professionalism that I've seen from this pitching staff. I think through everything, which has been very encouraging. You know, there's been a few blow up starts here and there, but I think overall, nobody doubts this pitching staff and its abilities. Um, it's really is the hitting aspect of things, right? That's the biggest difference between the Phillies and the Red Sox, I think, at this point. You were sort of talking about how you're sort of happy with Harper and Schwarber, and things are starting to come online for Alec Boehm, and there's a lot of sort of firepower in this lineup. There's a consistency that you kind of expect these guys to get back to their normal routine. What were you saying, Max?
Oh yeah, I was about to say. I think Justin Crawford's been having a decent year
Yeah.
to start off the year. He's a
He's
rookie. He's hitting ninth in the lineup, but hit a home run last night for the Red Sox for the Phillies, excuse me, against the Red Sox. He's been, I think, hitting the big leagues with strides. I mean, I never expect him to be a big power hitter, but he's got good defense. He's playing the field really well, and he gets on base consistently. So I'm happy to see that. Bless you. And so I'm happy to see that they're doing what they can with Justin Crawford. I think most of the players are doing a decent job. I don't expect Bryson Stott to be an offensive wizard out there, but in the past few weeks, he's actually been seeing the ball really well. So I think we've been on a hot streak since, unfortunately, Rob Thompson's firing. Um, but I think it's just a spark that they needed. The Phillies are almost at 500 now for the first time all year, and I continue to, I hope that essentially the Phillies' best playing is usually around this time. It's these like late spring, summer months, and then they get cold into October. So I expect them, the same amount, and I think their pitching has been decent too. I think Wheeler, the game one against the Red Sox, and ever since he's been back, Wheeler has been almost untouchable. He's been looking like his usual self. Um, Nola, I still have some issues with.
yeah.
That contract is, I don't, I'm flipping between the contract. It's kind of too early to tell, but he is a far cry from 2019 Nola and 23 Nola. This is not the same Nola that we signed that extension for. Um, I think Luzardo has been, I would say, spotty because there's some times where he pitches 5 innings and he's untouchable, and then the sixth inning comes around. It's their third time through the lineup, and he gives up 6 fucking earned runs. But sometimes that happens. There's really no consistency there with that, um, and you know I think Painter is. He had one great start, and ever since then, he has not been, to say diplomatically, not very good.
Hmm.
I think some of this is nerves being in the big leagues. He's never really been in these high pressure situations before. I think he'll still be fine, but I definitely think he needs some more reassurance. I would not be surprised. I don't think he'll go back down to AAA, but I would not be surprised if the Phillies try a little something something, and maybe he gets put into a bullpen role for some time. Brad Keller used to be a starter. This is just me throwing hot air in there. This could be dead wrong, but Brad Keller used to be a starter. See how he does in the fifth spot. How worse can he be? Can he be worse than Taiwan Walker? Maybe not, but
Yeah,
that's just an
I was about
idea.
to say, who would you rather have as your five, Andrew Painter or Taiwan Walker?
Andrew Painter any day of the week. Andrew
Yeah,
Painter cannot make me
yeah, but
fuming mad as Taiwan Walker made me. Taiwan Walker, I don't feel bad for him at all. He's a great guy, but I don't feel bad for him at all because he's getting paid all this money to sit on the couch.
well,
So good for him.
this is sort of the larger point that I was making to you earlier this week, offline, talking about Jack Flaherty and now Andrew Painter, right? Guys that have their own fans pulling their hair out whenever they watch them pitch, right? Like just super inefficient and a lot of mistake pitches, a lot of inconsistent command. And the Red Sox they just make these guys look competent, right? Jack Flaherty, he got touched up for a few runs, but he also struck out 10 Red Sox. Like Andrew Painter, he went what six and some change of 1 run ball.
Yeah, he pitched pretty decent
Yeah,
for Andrew
well,
Painter
this is the
stats.
thing, right? It's like we take the other team's terrible starters, the guys that every other team have been beating up on. We make them look competent because we swing at junk. We don't give quality at bats to any of these guys. And when we actually run into a quality pitcher, we're not able to manufacture any sort of runs. So, it gets to the point where, if we're not getting a few lucky runs here and there, scattering 8 hits in a night, or, you know, someone like Sadon or someone like Story hits a home run in a pivotal moment, and that's how we win our games. But we win them like 3-1, 4-2, like just not convincing. We've probably had 3 or 4 wins where I'm like, okay, we deserved this game, and at no point was this game within touching distance, right? I
Mhm.
think if you gave this team the opportunity to face the worst pitcher in the league right now, we would probably make them look fairly competent at stretches. Like there's a level of immaturity and there's a level of inexperience in this lineup, and that's baked in, right? That's something that we knew going in, right? Guys like Marcelo Meyer and Roman Anthony and Caleb Durbin, to an extent, like he only played about 3/4 of a year last year or so, and you know, you look at these guys and you say, I expect some stretches where it's not going to look pretty, but I want to see process over results. But then
Mhm.
you have guys like Trevor Story, and you have guys like Jaron Duran, and you have guys like Carlos Narvaez, guys that should know better, guys that are portrayed as Whittier slaps a single the other way there. He's been phenomenal this year. Um, but guys that like are trusted to be a leader of sorts for this hitting group, right? It's such a far cry from an Alex Bregman, right? And Alex Bregman, you could tell when he went up to the plate last year, he always had a plan of attack. He was never rushed. He never seemed like he was reaching at anything. He never seemed like he was off balance. He never seemed like he was. What are you looking at
You'll
right there,
see.
Max?
You'll see.
Okay, well, yeah, but like, Alex Bregman. Not to keep talking about my ex, so to speak, but
You got a
everything
lot of X's for the Red Sox. Let's be honest. You got a lot of X's.
everything that we saw with Alex
Hmm.
Bregman last year, though, was like this guy just is a baseball player, right? He oozes professionalism. He is someone that I genuinely had never had any doubts about. I don't. Oh, you just got picked off for fuck's sake.
That's what I was pointing to.
How are you so
Oh,
much farther ahead than I am? That's crazy.
I know.
Um,
I'm seeing this on glorious 4K right now too on my 4K television. Thank you, Amazon. Thank you, Jeff Bezos.
that's just such that is the Red Sox to a T this year, right? And Contreras bangs one off the wall to no avail. He's going for two here. Gets there standing. Probably should have slid there, but whatever. Um,
Shit.
that could have been a run if we didn't get picked off doing something stupid on the base paths. Like, look, there's so much stupidity in this team. There really is. Like, these guys aren't good enough to be like giving away runs like this. Like Contreras getting thrown out at second just randomly the other day. Like Abreu getting picked off right before Contreras hits a double off the monster. Like, are you fucking kidding me? How many
Mhm.
times has something like this happened to us this year? How many times has something like this, like, it's 2 outs, right? It's 2 outs. I guarantee you Sadon either strikes out or flies out or whatever, and the inning is over. And what
Yeah.
could have been a run scoring inning, it ends up with a stupid mistake. I've never had any faith in any of these guys this year with 2 outs. Never. Not once. And it's ridiculous. Anyway, Max, what are you gonna say about this?
How does it feel to be the New York Mets?
You know what? We might be bad, but we're not the New York Mets.
I
That's a
mean,
team that is genuinely. I don't even know what they're doing. Um,
I love what they're doing.
yeah. So
I also love what the Yankees are doing.
that's sort of my
Ah, that was a failed attempt. I tried.
yeah.
I tried.
I also love what the Yankees are doing. Like honestly, it's like one of those things where
Oh,
if you took the brand off the food and you said compare these two things. This is like saying compare this Michelin star chef prepared filet mignon and fucking spam. You know, like not even spam because I kind of like spam. Like fucking,
you like spam?
I do like spam. Yeah,
What is spam? I never had it before.
it's like processed ham basically.
Oh,
It goes good with some things. I used to like cut it up and put it in with like a teriyaki sauce, some rice, and like
oh,
make
nice.
little sort of sushi things with it. But anyway,
Yeah,
um,
I like to distract you. I'm sorry.
but like the it just doesn't seem like anybody has any clue like what to do with this team at this point. Not Breslow,
Yeah,
not Tracy, nobody in this lineup. You know, I this is my thing, right? I would happily trade some of these guys for some
prospects.
yep, some no, some professionals.
Mm.
And Sadon flies out to center just as I foretold. It's just hissing all over chances on
As written.
like the situational hitting on this team is fucking hot garbage.
Yeah.
But
Well, we don't have a problem with situational
like
hitting. We've actually been pretty good
if we went out
now the.
if we went out and we traded for a guy like let's just say Nolan Arenado
Mhm.
for the sake of argument, right? I don't particularly think he's a very good player, but he's the kind of guy that is a professional at the very least. This is a
Mhm.
guy that goes about his business in a certain way. I don't think I've ever once heard something said about him where this guy wasn't conducting himself in a way that wasn't beneficial to the team. Or
Yeah.
this guy, he wasn't playing to his full capabilities, right? And quite frankly, he'd be a better hitter than Durbin at this point. Like, and there's
You still
so
got
many
that glove too.
there's so many things about this team that frustrate me to no end, but
Yeah.
it's the lack of awareness that frustrates me the most, right? These
Hmm.
guys never understand a situation. They're swinging for the fences when it's an 0-2 count, and they're playing protective baseball when it's fucking 2-0 and you should be attacking the ball, right? They're just taking a ball right down the
Yeah.
middle like they're Kevin Euclid on a 3-0 count. You know,
Yep.
like they're just not good enough to be doing the things that a Manny Ramirez or a Euclid did on any given night, where they would be intentional about what pitches they were looking for, and they were saying, you know, I have a plan at the plate. 3-0 count, I'm letting one go right through the middle. Throw me a pitch. Okay, you threw me a strike. All right, now I'm going to change up my fucking yeah, it's just so frustrating. And it's not like this is new. I mean, it's been exacerbated, of course, but this has been going on all year.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Anyways, the Phillies have been good in situational hitting so far this year. I think they've been seeing the ball a lot better. I don't have the stats in front of me right now, but
Oh, that's actually something I wanted to mention.
yeah.
Craig Breslow was saying how infuriating it was to him that they weren't cashing in runs in runners in scoring position situations, and that this was going to correct itself throughout the year. The Red Sox
Mhm.
actually have better batting statistics with runners in scoring position than they do without runners in scoring position. But everybody just assumes, no hitters over. Damn it. Everybody just assumes that we are dog shit with runners in scoring position because we're just dog shit in every situation.
Mhm.
And how can you not be embarrassed if you're Craig Breslow? How can you look at this team and say, you know what, they're going to turn it around. This is going to be the team. No, I'm tired of it. I'd rather him come out and say, "I'm blowing this whole thing up." It's gonna be Marcelo Meyer, Roman Anthony, and fucking Joe Blow from Bazooka Joe Gum playing first base by the end of fucking July. I'd rather him say that.
We will gladly take Crochet's contract when that happens.
Yeah, well, you're not getting Crochet. Crochet is here to stay.
All right. Well, what do you want
But
for him?
uh, you can have Ranger back.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah, you have to trade us Brandon Marsh though first.
When you
Oh,
hit the
actually,
beginning of the
actually,
season, yes.
we can do what the opposite of what the Padres did, where they had a lineup of all former shortstops,
Mhm.
but we just do it where the whole lineup is just outfielders.
Yeah.
You know, I mean that's basically what we might as well do at this point, since he refuses to trade an outfielder. Like, look, Duran has this is about as low as his trade stock has been since after his second year, right?
Yeah.
The only players that have any value on this team anymore are players that are integral to us winning any games at all.
Hmm.
Quite frankly, I just don't see how a trade gets done, because Breslow clearly values all these guys way too high and he's not willing to bend on his valuation.
Yeah. Anyways, I will say this. I think Dave Dombrowski has made some pretty big moves I didn't really expect him to make earlier this year. I thought we would. We seem to be going back to Taiwan Walker a bit. Um, we seem to want to like make things wish they would happen the way they are, especially with Taiwan Walker, especially that contract that he signed. I will give props to the Mets. We probably should have listened to them. We probably should not have signed him too much. His first year, granted, in Philly wasn't that bad. In 24 and 25, I mean, there is a meme on like Phillies Twitter or Phillies Blue Sky, wherever you go, where it's like, oh, Taiwan Walker is pitching, guaranteed loss for the day. And then I see like in the first and second inning, he gives up three or four on runs, all home runs. I'm like, okay, no outs. Great. Expected this. That's a wash. I'll put on a different game. I'll watch a different show. Now he's off the team, and I was kind of shocked that that happened because obviously at the beginning of the year he had like a 9 ERA, which is crazy. Um,
Shout out to Brian Bayo.
well, he's lowering his ERA. Ty
Yeah.
Walker never lowered his ERA this year, um, and especially with Rob Thompson, that was shocking. I think it's pretty clear the mindset that Philly has that they are clearly still in this window. While it's still early, but the division does seem out of hand because the Braves have are the first team in baseball to get 30 wins. They won the series against the Dodgers. I still don't think they've lost a series so far this year. So this Braves team looks absolutely dominant. No signs of stopping. We'll see how the second half goes, but as of right now, I'm comfortable enough to say that I think the Braves are going to win that division. Um, with the Phillies being a second place. Now, I do think they get the wild card. So we'll definitely be in the NL wild card race, which I think we could win that. Um, Now, the division series will get hairy because it depends on who we face in the division. It would be tough if we were against the Brewers. It would be tough if we were against the Dodgers again. Um, so that would be pretty tough. Um, I still think it's manageable, and I still think with some of the changes that Mattingly has made, because the difference between Mattingly and Thompson, I think, is that Thompson would be more static as a manager. But what I mean by that is he wouldn't change much. He was a very traditional manager, and all credit to him because it worked out in the regular season. But he's been a very static manager in terms of Brandon Marsh gets hot. Let's stick him at six. Nick Castellanos is like 0 for 30. We're going to keep him at fifth or fourth in the lineup. Like, what are we doing there? Like, really? But I like that that Mattingly is kind of changing things a little bit, and I think it's been very good. I think now Brandon Marsh is our fourth hitter, and he's been succeeding in every metric in that hitting slot that he's in. Bryce Harper clearly got his mojo back. I was shocked. I think one of the things that we have in similarities between the Phillies and the Red Sox is you were not fond of Pete Fossey. I was not. I'm not still too fond of Kevin Long. I thought he would go, but the players seem to like Kevin Long. So take that as you will. Um, Our bullpen, with the exception of Tanner Banks losing the game yesterday and Tanner Banks having a 6.83 ERA, our bullpen has actually not been bad. Brad Keller has actually been a pretty bright spot in this bullpen. He's been a steady arm in the bullpen. Jose Alvarado has not been that bad, not really bad at all this year. Yoran Duran, still amazing, still incredible. We also got other guys in the bullpen that have been looking quite solid. So shockingly, our bullpen has not fallen off the face of the earth yet. Um, the Red Sox actually have a pretty decent bullpen, except for that one guy.
Mm.
Take it away.
Yeah, I mean, there really isn't a one guy sort of thing because there's two guys that I just sort of can't believe are still on the roster. Greg Weissert and Zach Kelly. Now Zach Kelly's looked okay in his last couple outings. I'll give him that much, but Greg Weissert has been very good at times in the past season. But when you're a reliever, there really is no continuation from year to year in terms of your overall performance. It's just not to be expected, right?
Hmm.
This year he is like there we go, Ranger. Big strikeout with the bases loaded. Um, he's basically turning every hitter he sees into 2001 Barry Bonds when there's runners on base,
Hmm.
especially when he inherits them. And you have one job as a reliever, right? Look, if you're a reliever, you cannot just like ask for only clean innings, right? It's just not going to happen, right? You're going to have runners on base, and if you routinely let them score, then you're not doing anybody any favors,
Uh-oh,
right?
look who's warming up in the bullpen.
And there's really nothing that can be done at this time because there's not like there's some arms that are okay in AAA, but there's nothing that I would point to say, the cavalry is here. Just call this guy up who's throwing 105 and it's got a wicked slider because there's not really anything that can be done in the immediate situation. But I think I know what just happened given your reaction. But yeah,
Fuck.
Zach
Sorry.
Kelly, Greg Weissert.
Sorry about that.
How are you so far ahead of me? I don't understand this. Um, there's
I hear
nothing
you,
that can
Don.
be
I
done.
hear you. Yeah, talk your shit.
Like,
Sorry. I'm in the heat of the moment.
yeah, so am I. It's a big moment here. Um, but yeah, the, yeah, I don't know. Like that's paint. That's paint right on the bottom, right on the bottom of the zone. Beautiful from Ron Hare. Oh, did he challenge it, brother? That's a strike. That's as much of a strike as any strike has ever been. I don't know what he's looking at there.
Yeah,
But okay,
okay.
this is actually a perfect
Okay. No,
opportunity to talk
no,
about something
okay.
else here. Hold on,
Okay.
hold on.
I miss Ranger so much when he did this to other people. The fact that you have him on your shitty ass team is pissing me off.
We're, we're
I miss him. I miss him so
we're really
much.
not using him in any sort of even remotely effective way at this point.
He's pitching great right now. He's been doing this to
For
us the
what? For
entire
what?
time.
This dusty ass offense that can't put any runs across. Like even when we do score these runs in run like in scoring position, it's gonna be one. It's just one run. Cause like
Yeah.
even if there's a guy on second and third and one out, we're gonna find a way to be like, we got
Well,
a
weren't
sack
there like
fly,
two
but
games this year? Like the last game with Cora where you scored 17 runs. Wasn't there like another one like fairly recently where you like won it pretty handily?
yeah.
I forget the second one, but the first one I know was like 17 to nothing.
Gotta try to remember that one now. But yeah, like those are really the only two games that I can look at and be like, those are the games, right?
Yeah.
But
I will say this though, the Red Sox farm system is still, I think, pretty decent at number 14 in the year. Phillies, it's the Dombrowski effect, really. So it's to be expected with our farm system.
no, but the Greenville Drive have been downright terrifying this year for single A pitching. You know, Justin Gonzalez and Yofri Rodriguez and um, it's yeah, Yolan Cespedes. All these guys have been mashing the ball so far, and I'm just
Mhm.
waiting for some of these guys to get promoted to Double A so I can go see some of them. I really want to go see Justin Gonzalez because this kid is just massive. Sort of burst on the
Yeah.
scene during spring training. He had the second most hard hit ball in all of spring training
Mm.
as a 19-year-old who hasn't played higher than single A.
Yeah.
This guy has immense raw talent. He just needs to sort of put the right swing on it.
Do you guys still have the passcode?
Nope. He is on the Pirates. We traded him for Juan Oviedo and Tyler Samaniego.
Ah,
If you remember that trade,
yeah.
but
I missed the
we
passcode,
do
man. He
we
was
do
fun to
have his
watch
little
him play.
brother, the username,
Yeah. Oh, the username.
Juan Fran Garcia. He's in Double A right now. I actually saw him the other day. He's been playing pretty well actually recently, so he might be a bit of a riser in the system.
Yeah.
His younger brother, I might add, I think he's 3 years younger than him at
Hmm.
this point. So, yep, Trevor Story with another
Yeah. I
very
will
good
say
at
this
bat.
though, and as you know, I was actually at the first game of this series, Phillies Red Sox. It was cool. Every time I go to a Sox game, I always wear, this jersey right here. I got a few other jerseys that I'll wear, and always a Red Sox hat. It's always weird to go to Fenway and wear the opposing team's jersey, even if it's my team. It's the only time I do that. Few notes. First of all, it was jam packed. First series, it was a really nice day for a ball game. Um, to people who have been to Fenway, who are listening and watching to this, when you get off of Kenmore and you're near Cask and Flagon near Lansdowne Street, usually it's very easy and accessible. You don't have to wait that long at all, if at all, to get into Fenway. This was different. The line started at Cask and Flagon to get into Gate C, which is where center field is. So I waited a long time. So I unfortunately missed that home run by Kyle Schwarber. Um, but that was a fun game because not only did Zach Wheeler pitch his ass off, I think, as I said at the beginning of the podcast, Brian Bale really pitched his ass off. He looked really good out there. He seems more confident on the mound. Cedon looked fantastic, made a few great catches. Justin Crawford looked fantastic, made a great catch as well. The bullpen, I think, did work a bit for both teams, um, obviously. And yeah, so it was great to see. Pardon me. There was times during the game where I will admit this that I was sweating a bit, especially in the bottom of the eighth and bottom of the ninth, when I think it was Massa that was on second or third, and Sadon was up, and then we struck out Sadon, and we were relieved. When the game was over, the annoying Philly fan that I am, surrounded by a bunch of other annoying Philly fans, um, were then proceeding and exiting the ballpark, and we just were going EAGLES Eagles, and we said go Birds, dickhead! All those Sox fans. It was great to see. Uh, and then some Red Sox fans were doing some polite trash talk, and I just started chanting Super Bowl 52, Super Bowl 52, Nick Foles, Nick Foles. But my default is whenever someone talks shit about the Eagles is, hey, someone had to beat Mahomes. Someone had to do it. And if it was us, great. I'm happy with that. Having said that, that was fun. I just wanted to get that off my chest. Just a little connective tissue there. But no, seeing it firsthand, the Red Sox actually did not look that horrible. Their pitching looked really good. Um, Offense is a different story. Specifically, Trevor's story is not very good. But that's my take on it.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much correct at this point. But um, we had this conversation earlier this week via text.
Hmm.
Um, we were talking about like where does this team compare in terms of like how crappy this team is compared to like 21st century Red Sox. Is there a worse team here? Automatically, I think of 2012 Red Sox as the benchmark of crappy teams. I remember having the worst time that year. Bobby Valentine, last place basically the whole year. Just fresh off the beer and chicken situation with
Hmm.
Terry Francona in the clubhouse and all that. And you know, if there is like a direct comparison to be made here, I'm gonna go position by position, and I want you to say because I know you know my thoughts on these, and I'll give
Yeah,
it after you give your opinion. But position by position with the 2012 team. I was looking it up
sure.
before the pod just to refresh my memory here. So we're gonna go starting at catcher, Carlos Narvaez or Jared Saltalamacchia. Who would you rather have?
Salty.
Okay, so that's one for 2012.
Yeah. I think he was a decent catcher for the
First
Sox. He
first
was always fun
base,
to see.
first
Not just
base.
on the Red Sox, but on the Rangers.
So ironically, one of my favorite Red Sox players um, of my lifetime that I remember playing,
Mhm.
Adrian Gonzalez or Wilson Contreras.
Ooh, that's actually really tough.
There's only one real answer for me here.
I think I still have to go with Adrian.
Mm-hmm.
Even on the
As
Red
would I.
Sox, he was still a
As
really
would I.
decent player.
Look, his 2011 season for us was unbelievable. In his
Yeah.
2012 season, I salute him because we wouldn't be able to get off under the out from under the contracts to Beckett and
Hmm.
Crawford, trade him to the Dodgers if not for how good Adrian Gonzalez was. Because they basically traded him to the Dodgers, and the Dodgers were like, yeah, we'll sign on to have like three other guys. Like, it doesn't really matter what the contract situation is. Um,
Yeah.
which set us up to sort of do a soft reset for 2013. Of course, that ended up great. So I will always respect Adrian Gonzalez for what he did and the part he played in the 2013 World Series. But yeah, I think we're both at 2-0 at this point. I sort of flip flopped.
Hmm.
I said Narvaez over Saltalamacchia earlier.
Yeah.
Um, but I would probably take Saltalamacchia over Narvaez as it is right now, just because his offense
Hmm.
is better and I think the defense is negligible. Um, so that's 2-0 for both of us. 2012 Red Sox. Second base,
Yeah.
Pedroia or Marcelo Meyer. I mean, has there ever been more of a slam dunk in the history of this? Like
Yeah.
my
Obviously.
favorite player of all time, Dustin Pedroia. We can just cast that aside. It's 3-0 2012 easily.
Yeah.
Now this is where it gets a little trickier. Trevor Story or Pedro Siriaco slash Mike Aviles, because the amount of games that they both played are it's a pretty
Yeah.
even split.
I would say Story because I mean the Story is not hitting great. He's actually hitting
Yeah.
better than Alec Boehm though. But I would still say Story because there is some consistency there. And I think Story still plays some pretty good defense. I think he still is a great defender, in my
As
opinion.
much
So,
of a heater as Siriaco was on this year, I would probably still say Story just because like he's capable of putting up a 2020 season, even if all the other stuff is awful.
yeah.
So
Well, didn't he
I'll
have a 2020 season? Was that last year or
yeah
24? I
last
mean,
year he was
yeah, he
perfect
had
on
a
the
20.
base path as well
Yeah.
up until he
I
went
mean, the
out.
2020 season, I know we see that, I know it's kind of not as prominent as it used to be, but I think a 2020 season, that's still not a bad season at the end
No,
of the
it's
day. That's still consistent.
it's not. Oh my God, what are you swinging at, Duran?
Well, he's got a tennis racket.
You
Yeah, I
know.
like the reaction. He's like, yeah.
Third base. Third base was Will Middlebrooks or Caleb Durbin. Now, I've sort of flip flopped on this a bit. Because you could argue that Durbin has a much higher fielding ceiling, and we never really saw Middlebrooks as like a potent offensive threat.
Hmm.
But you're just getting absolutely nothing from Durbin right now, in
Yeah.
any of the meaningful categories.
Well, no, I think Durbin has been a good fielder as of late. I think he's been fielding the ball quite well.
With the bat though, he's just not giving you anything.
Well, I don't think he has the range like Middlebrooks did, so I think that's why Middlebrooks is the edge for me.
Yeah, Middlebrooks, I would say. So
Yeah.
that makes it what is that up to now? 5-1, 4-1.
Yeah.
Four to one. Yep, he popped it up. There we go. Yep.
There was a story with a Jeter-esque catch.
Another another infield fly out. There we go. Lovely.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so that makes it 4-1 in favor of the 2012 team. So now we get into the
Mhm.
outfield. This is when it's a little trickier. Left field, we have Roman Anthony or Daniel Nava. Now, I think Roman Anthony has already shown more than Daniel Nava ever had during his career. I love Daniel Nava, but Roman
Yeah.
Anthony's better. He's a better player, pretty much
Yeah, I
every way.
mean, he's like your guys' version of Bryce Harper, just in terms of hype up prospect.
You know. Yep. So I
So
mean,
I also pick
this
Anthony.
is fresh off the news that the wrist situation might be more serious than we were initially given to believe with Roman.
Uh-oh.
So
Oh shit, really?
yeah,
Oh dear.
he might be seeing a significant amount of time on the IL. I've heard.
Oh
Um,
shit.
so that's gonna be a massive miss for our offense. Because say what you will about Roman and his production with the bat so far, he'll at least give you a professional at bat. And we just need more. We just need as much of that as we could possibly get at
Yeah.
this point.
Also, happy birthday to both Wilson Contreras and Roman Anthony. I think it's today or yesterday that was their birthdays.
Yeah,
I don't know
yesterday
how
was.
old Contreras is, but Anthony just turned 22,
Yeah,
which is crazy to see
yep,
that he already has that much maturity at that age in the big
yeah.
leagues
I
with
mean,
that
he's a
much prospect.
fantastic player. I'm not worried about him.
Yeah.
Um, I just hope he can get this wrist situation sorted out. We can just hit the road.
Yeah.
So that would make it 4-2, I believe now. Center field: Jacoby Ellsbury or Cedon Rafaela. Now,
Um,
bearing in mind, I think Jacoby Ellsbury, as great as his 2011 was, is a little overrated. I think in Red Sox lore, um, and that's probably why I would take Cedon over Ellsbury. I just think Cedon has more upside in terms of the glove, and I think he'll give you about the same in terms of at bats. The only difference being Ellsbury could probably steal you 50 bases, and Cedon probably steal you 20.
yeah. And Jacoby can steal home.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And Jacoby
Yeah.
was a fantastic player to watch when he was at his best, but I think a lot of people
Yeah.
forget that he had some pretty lost seasons there.
Yeah. I'm going to say Jacoby over Cedon. I love Cedon. As I said, he's my favorite positional player on the Red Sox right now. But I think just to your point, just what Jacoby can do when healthy. Like when he's healthy, oh shit. When he's healthy, he is a perennial MVP candidate. He really was in 2011. I think he almost won it
He was
in
just never healthy
2011
though.
too.
That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what kind of gives me pause. I mean, I still Jake Jacoby, but I mean, Don, he's healthy. Jacoby really never was, and even on the when he was on the Yankees, he got injured, and he took that contract home while he was in
Yeah.
rehab,
I
and he
mean, I
never
love
came
Jacoby
back.
Ellsbury. He was great. Um, yeah, just not the guy, unfortunately for me. Right field, we have Willie Abreu or Cody Ross. Now, that's obviously another no brainer. Willie Abreu, two-time gold glover. He'll hit you
Yep.
30 homers, and he'll make a catch on a Kyle Schwarber line drive there. Um, yeah, I mean, what more can you really want from a right fielder other than Willie Abreu, what he's given you? Cody Ross, sneaky underrated time with the Red Sox. Nobody really seemed to mention it, even though he was actually quite good, especially in 2012, all things considered. Um, to probably give him his plaudits, but oh, sneaking one in there, damn it.
Now
So
he's 1 for 10 on the series. Let's go, Bryce Harper.
as far as rotations go, this one I think is pretty much in the favor of 2026 Red Sox. Um, John Lester didn't have a very good year in 2012, although he was great. Clay Buchholz was our number two, and he didn't really give us anything except for a couple of years. Um, and the rest of them are too irrelevant for me to remember who they were, honestly. So ultimately, like Felix Dubront was in that rotation. Aaron Cook, but like
Yeah.
post Rockies, Aaron Cook, who was Aaron
Yeah.
Cooked.
You
Um,
guys have a hell of a closer back in the day.
Daisuke Matsuzaka, who had like an 8 ERA through 11 starts before I think we cut him or something like that. So,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, that was not fun how
just
Dice Cave's
just a
tenure
horrible,
ended in
horrible
Red Sox.
rotation. This 2026 rotation is much, much better than that
Yeah.
one.
Obviously, manager wise, you prefer Chad Tracy over Bobby Valentine.
Yeah,
Bobby Valentine was a fucking cartoon character. This was not the same Bobby Valentine on the 2000 Mets. Something happened to Bobby Valentine where he,
thought he
I
snapped.
think, called out publicly both Kevin Youkilis, which Youkilis was fed up and went to the White Sox, and Dustin Pedroia. And Pedroia tried to be diplomatic about it, but Bobby Valentine will still stir the pot. And nobody trusted Bobby Valentine organization. He didn't trust him, and the staff that he inherited from Francona, who were still there, didn't trust Valentine whatsoever. Yeah, Bobby Valentine thought he had all the answers. He
Yeah.
didn't. That's why he hasn't been in professional baseball since.
Hmm. Yeah.
Anyways, that's my rant. I made it for you about Bobby
Yeah. And
Valentine.
then bullpen. I mean, 2012 Red Sox bullpen was just catastrophic. So it's by basically default, just because we have Chapman and Whitlock, that's gonna be 2026. So you
Yeah,
know, it's more even than you'd think, but that doesn't really bode well because that's the worst Red Sox team of my lifetime at the very least. So
yeah.
it,
Now I
that
have a question for you. Do you think you'll finish better than the 2012 team was in terms of record wise, or will you be worse record wise?
I think that team won. Let me take a look here. I think it was like 75 games or so,
Hmm.
but I just want to double check that. 69 games. They won 69 games. I think
Mm.
this team, when it's all said and done, will probably win about 75. That's sort of the number that I
That's
have in my
that's
head.
actually not horrible.
It's horrible considering what the expectations were, though. 75
I
wins
mean,
is
did the
not going to
Red
get you.
Sox really have that high expectations to start off the year, though?
They
I
claim
mean,
that they do. They claim that they
they
do.
claim that they do because their pitching was great. I always kind of
I
figured
don't.
that
I
their
don't think
offense
anybody
wasn't
in
going to be
their.
up to
I don't think
snuff.
anybody really, with their full heart, said this is a World Series contender.
Yeah,
That's the talking point that Breslow keeps pointing to for this team. So ultimately, when we're talking about a team that's it needs a makeover, needs a remodeling, needs a change of expectations for a few years, this is the team.
yeah,
Because there's so many things that are wrong. And even in the positions where we have an excess, nice job Slayton. Even in the positions where we have an excess, there's not enough excess that we can actually trade from because we keep
yeah,
giving at bats to dog awful players. And yeah, it's problematic. It's really not worth discussing anymore.
yeah.
All right, I'm just waiting for it to happen at this point, Max.
Yeah. Well, this was fun. I love this new format we got. I think
Yeah, I mean, like
we both
this
have.
is as you can probably tell, this is a little bit less effort put into this, more just speaking from the heart, talking
Yeah,
about like how we genuinely feel about our teams and not having to worry about any other teams really, and
we'll take some shots at some
it
teams we
it
don't
it, it,
like.
it
All due respect to the fans, though, of those respective teams, but it's really just us being salty people. That's what it is at the end of the day.
no, I just saw Bohm's hit there, so
I would also like to retract my previous statement from last episode's pod. Last episode, I made a pretty dumb comment saying that I would rather have Alec Bohm on my team than than um, Rafael Devers. I would like to humbly and formally
Rafael Devers
retract that
has
statement.
an OPS above 1,000 since the beginning of this month, by the way.
And
And
that's and I didn't even look at that.
All these
I
Giants
was
fans who don't know about the Rafael Devers, the book of Rafael Devers, like I know about the book of Rafael Devers, they were saying he's cooked, he's washed, worst player in the league. I hate this man. He's the worst. All of a sudden, he's like, oh yeah, I'm Rafael Devers. Like he does every single year. This guy does
yeah.
not play well in the cold. This has always been the story of Rafael Devers. Look, as soon as it warms up, nice running catch there, Sadon. That's my guy right there. Give you both barrels.
All right, stone cold
Um,
motherfucker.
I love Sadon so much. He's
Uh-huh.
my goat. I take him over Jacoby Ellsbury in a heartbeat.
Not for me, little bro. Not for me.
Um,
Having said that, I will say this. I would like to humbly retract my statement. I was very ignorant when I made that statement because my logic was that Alec Boehm was hitting the ball pretty well. And so far, despite his average in his last 10 games, he actually has been hitting the ball
yeah.
quite well. I did not take into account that Rafael Devers had 5 home runs or 3 home runs in his past 5 games. I did not take that into account, so I do want to apologize for that. Having said that, Alec Boehm's defense is better than Rafael Devers' defense at third base. So you kind of get a mismatch there. But
But
obviously, with the power, especially the power that the Braves have,
so,
you would want a
so
Rafael Devers on your
let me
team.
ask you this, Max. We've sort of talked about favorites, not favorites,
Hmm.
and you mentioned one of my favorite Red Sox of all time in Rafael Devers. Who is your top five for Phillies of all time? Let's go in descending order here, right? Who is your
Oh
fifth
God. Oh
favorite
man.
Phillies? Like just off the cuff, off the cuff. It doesn't have to be like an official list. Just what are
Okay.
you feeling right now? That you've that
Okay.
you've been alive to witness actually play. Like I could say Mo Vaughn, but that'd be a lie, right?
Sure. Sure. No, that's fair. Um, Number one for me, he's right here.
Right.
Um, Loved Roy Halladay growing up. When he passed, I was, very sad that that happened.
Yeah.
He was one of my favorite players of all time. I would TiVo record every game that he would pitch, and I would watch it in its entirety, back to back to back,
Yeah.
on end. I would try to when I was a kid in Little League, I would try to recreate his windup. I would even try to throw a cutter or sinker. My sinker wasn't bad. I could not throw a cutter for the life of me. My brother throws a fantastic cutter, by the way. Shout out to him. Um, but Roy Halladay for me, I mean, I saw both in its entirety and live when it happened. The perfect game and the no hitter. 2012 was, frustrating, but doesn't take me away from the fact that Roy Halladay, ever since he's been on the Phillies, was just legendary. He is my favorite player. Number two, it's really tough for me. I will actually say
I
Cole
will say
Hamels because
my number one before we move on, Dustin Pedroia, always has been, always will be. I watch his defensive highlights probably once every 6 months, maybe every 3 months, depending on my mood, because like it's just a marvel to watch him play defense. It's a marvel to watch him throw himself around, take away hit after hit after hit, and I challenge you to name me one better fielder in this league right now. I don't care what the DRS says. I don't care what the fielding
Mhm.
value says. There's nobody making plays like Pedroia was making plays. Right, diving into the
Yeah,
hole, making throws from his back, making throws from his knees. Saving Clay Buckholt's no hitter. Right, like all these different things. Not to mention, this is a guy who won an MVP, who won a Rookie of the Year award. Like he is the laser show, right? You got the MLB The Show ads. Tragically cut short his career by Manny fucking Machado, who I'll be honest, I know the rest of Red Sox Nation curse his name. I can't bring myself to hate. Um, I think he went through a villain arc for a while, but he's
especially
just such a
Josh
special
Donaldson.
player, and but yeah, I love me some PD, consummate baseball
Yeah.
professional.
Yeah, number two is Cole Hamels. I have a thing for pitchers, as you know. But when I was a kid, when I first started playing baseball, when I first started collecting baseball
There we
cards,
go, more stereo. Yes, come
the
on.
first card that I got from the Topps deck was a Cole Hamels card. And in my old Little League glove, there was a pocket in there, like on the pocket, like where you catch the ball, really. Um, at the back of that glove, when it's facing this way, every time I would play, I would have the card in the glove.
Mm,
That's how much I love Cole Hamels. I loved him even when he was on the Braves and when he went to the Cubs. Um, so I always followed his career after the Phillies, and I know he retired actually semi recently, which is crazy. But yeah,
yeah. Do you remember J.P. Martinez?
I do.
Doesn't Felix Reyes kind of look like J.P. Martinez?
Um,
He's got the dreads. He's playing the outfield. I feel like he's got similar swag. There's just something
yeah,
about him that really reminds me of J.P. Martinez. I don't
it's like when I look and I'm like, what the Michael Franco is in
know.
left field right now.
Oh, I love Michael Franco.
Yeah, Orioles legend Michael Franco.
I'm still waiting
Anyways,
for Michael Franco to be good.
yeah. Anyways, who is number
Number
two on
number
your
two for
list?
me, Big Poppy, David Ortiz. It couldn't be anybody
Yeah.
else. Like if it wasn't David Ortiz, it wasn't Dustin Pedroia, it'd be David Ortiz. I think that's true of basically every single person that's ever
Hmm.
been a Red Sox fan that's from New England, right?
Yeah.
This is a good litmus test for me. I think a lot of people who are like true fans of the Red Sox would say Dustin Pedroia is their favorite player, but David Ortiz is the legend. He's the icon, right? He's his name's on the fucking bridge that you cross on in the way to Fenway, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't need to give my reasoning as to why David Ortiz is number two. It's self-explanatory, right? Like, there's not a single person on this earth that would say David Ortiz isn't a Hall of Famer, other than salty Yankees fans who wanna take some sort of fraudulent report from the New York Times and say he did PEDs, he shouldn't be in the Hall, all this kind of nonsense. Fuck you all, which is why Cam Schlittler saying what he says from his position as being a Yankees player pisses me off so much because he should know better. He knows what these
Oh,
fans
come
do.
on. No,
He
let
knows
me
what these
say this.
fans say
Cam
about our goat.
Schlittler
He knows what these
is
fans say about an icon, a number retired, the 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 greatest human being to ever put on a Red Sox jersey, in my humble opinion. Like you,
wasn't Ted Williams. He was a war hero.
well, he's great too, but David Ortiz is I think he represents this city better than any Red Sox player ever has.
Yeah,
This
no,
is our
that's
fucking
that's
city.
that's.
This is our fucking city. Remember that, Max? I'm old enough to remember
I
that.
know, and you don't live in that city. I live in that city, little
Yeah,
bro. I
you
know
don't
what you. No, I'm kidding.
appreciate it. You don't
I'm
appreciate
sorry.
it. You think David Ortiz is a fraud. I can see it in your eyes.
No, I do.
Go
Well, he took
fuck yourself.
steroids,
Go
but
fuck
no.
yourself.
You know,
All right.
he took
Who's
roids, but
number
that's
three,
okay.
Max? Give me number three. I'm not even let you defend yourself because I know how you feel.
I'm sorry. Number three. Um,
Did we just blow both of our challenges in the span of two batters?
oh shit, you really did.
What are
Holy
we
fuck.
doing?
Um,
These are just not the times to challenge a pitch.
Number three. Um, my boy Chase Utley. My favorite second baseman of all time. I say a better second baseman than Dustin Pedroia ever was. I never will be. No, I'm kidding. I think they're both very great. But Chase Utley, I
How many
loved.
MVPs does Chase Utley have again?
Shut the fuck up.
That
Um,
many.
yeah, well, Pedroia had a Mickey Mouse Rookie of the Year and an MVP, so you can
Okay,
have that.
all right.
But
The only Mickey Mouse trophies out there are the 2020 trophies, which is why
fair
I say
point.
the Dodgers only have two World Series.
Fair point. Hey, if the Rays have won it, would that have been a Mickey Mouse ring for the
No,
Rays?
that's a real ring if the Rays win it.
Oh, okay. I see. I see.
Fuck.
Um, but no, Utley, because as a kid, I would always like want to try and mimic his swing because his swing was really crazy because he would never flick his wrist. He would always it was like one smooth. It's like golf, he hit the baseball like a golf ball. He would be crazy good head hitting inside pitches. His fielding was always great. Um, he's gonna be in the Hall of Fame at some point, in my opinion.
Mm. I think so
And
too.
growing up, I love Chase Utley. I even love Chase Utley even when he was a little bit in the wrong with the whole. I think it was the
Ruben
Mets
Tejada,
short. Ruben Tejada, yeah, he was a
yeah,
little bit in the wrong there, but
just a little bit, huh?
I will say this: he is from
Oh
that
my
era
God! How
where
many
he
times are
was,
we gonna fucking blow these goddamn runners in scoring
yeah.
position situations? Like killing me right now. God.
I will say he made his
Mm.
debut, I think, in '03 or '02, playing at the vet. And he was one of the last players on the Phillies roster, I think, to play in the vet. So that's a little fun fact. But number three is going to be my boy, Chase Utley.
All right, yeah. Um, number three for me. This is sort of it's a little bit of a one season wonder, I suppose you could say that. You know, he's had a couple of good years for the Red Sox, but
Yeah.
I just remember him being so clutch and so dominant in 2013. In my opinion, other than David Ortiz, the biggest reason that we won a World Series, it's Koji Uehara. He he exemplified dominant closer in that season. He didn't do it with electric stuff. He did it with splitters and sinkers and just nastiness. And I remember him, the only closer still to date to win a World Series in Fenway Park. I remember him getting hoisted by, I think it was Jared Saltalamacchia was behind the plate that night. And, I think he's an excellent player. I think he's phenomenal. Um, you know, I, yeah, I just think he's great, personally.
Yeah. Number four, Orion Howard. Um, One of the best power hitters I've seen, not just on the Phillies, but I think in that decade of baseball. He won an MVP. And he was a great defensive fielder. He was really the face of the franchise that entire run that they had, and he was fantastic. I did love him more than Ortiz because mostly because of the fact that he was on the Phillies, and that's why I loved Ryan Howard growing up. I will say this: in 2011, in the NLDS, when Chris Carpenter decided to be prime Sandy Koufax for one game and one game only against Roy Halladay, who gave up 13 hits, but only gave up one run. And the last out of that series, and incidentally, the last appearance we would have in the playoffs until 22. Ryan Howard hits an easy ground ball, and he's down.
Mm.
When this happened on the screen, I was 12 years old, and I was crying like a fucking baby. I saw Ryan Howard on the ground in pain. I was like little Simba going to Mufasa saying, "Get up, please get up." I was so sad. Ryan Howard, unfortunately, was not the same player as he was when he tore the ACL. But what a run he had, specifically from '06 to 2011. One of the best players in baseball at that time. MVP,
Mm.
cover athlete for the show.
Mm.
Um, love him to this day.
Yeah, there's another guy that was MVP in '06 that we mentioned previously as well.
Yeah,
Um, Good old Big Poppy there, but yeah, number four for me is Rafael Devers. Um, if you've ever had the pleasure of watching a Devers hot streak when he's truly dialed in,
yeah.
when he's just fucking hitting rockets off of the monster, he's hitting home runs basically up to Teddy Ball games, red seat up there.
Mhm.
If you've ever truly seen a man capable of putting that much damage on an opposite field hit, you'll know what I'm talking about. Rafael Devers, he won his first World Series as a 20-year-old. Unfortunately, couldn't win another, but we've had some pretty crappy teams since Betts left, and I thought he was untouchable. That's why I bought his jersey. I let my guard down, and I said to myself, I said to you, I believe last year when I bought his red home jersey that we just don't wear anymore for whatever reason. And I said, you know what, Max, this is the one guy that I'm confident we won't trade, so this is the jersey I'm getting. And I believe it was probably less than a week later that good old good old Devers went to the division where Mookie is currently presiding. So
Yep, and that was the day
the
the
music
music
died.
died.
Yep.
I remember that
Yeah.
conversation. I remember when I broke the news to you that Devers was traded. You didn't believe it.
I didn't believe it, Max. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, and then I called you. Um, Not to rub it in, obviously. I mean, come on, that was awful when it happened. But I called just to get your thoughts, and you were in a period of mourning. I think you still are.
Yeah.
It's okay. He's not in your division anymore. Number five for me. I have two number fives. My real number five is Jimmy Rollins. Me and my brother loved him so much as a kid. Fantastic. He was like a wizard at shortstop. He too won an MVP. I think it was '07 he won the MVP.
Hmm.
And that was the year that the Phillies really started to get off their run. He played fantastic in the postseason. He played fantastic all year round. He was a Gold Glover, a Silver Slugger, All Star, MVP. Really, nothing better than that. My honorary mention for number five, and this is going to sound very odd and strange for the viewers. You may not have heard of his name. You've heard his name. Number five for me is Kyle Kendrick. Kyle Kendrick was not a great pitcher.
I don't know
Uh,
how he can't be in your top five when he's the origin story. It's
yeah,
like
this
saying
is
George
how
Washington
Batman
isn't in
began.
your top five presidents.
He's in my, he's he this is Batman Begin for me. For better for worse. Because my uncle taught Kyle Kendrick in the little leagues in the '80s. Both from Washington State. So Kyle Kendrick is from Washington State. Then some years later, um, when Kyle Kendrick debuted in 2007 for the Phillies, I was 8 years old. I liked baseball, but didn't have a team because my dad was an A's fan. Everybody else in my family were Red Sox fans, and my brother was a Mariners fan. So I really didn't have an allegiance at the time. And I thought to myself, I should really pick a team. Lo and behold, my dad is, going to Philadelphia. I'm like, oh, what are you doing? Where are you going to Philadelphia? He's like, well, actually, your uncle taught one of their is taught their players who's debuting tonight for the Phillies. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. He comes back the next night. He brings me back a batting helmet for the Phillies, a little Phillies bat and a baseball that is signed to Max KK Kyle Kendrick. I don't have it with me, but I still have that baseball. Uh, Ever since then, I have been a Phillies diehard, true and true. Not knowing what it meant to be a Phillies fan, and not knowing what it meant to be both a Phillies and Eagles fan, I didn't know it came with the territory. But that really, to me, is not just my Phillies origin story. That really is my baseball origin story.
Mm.
I don't know where I would be without that moment. Would I would definitely not be a Phillies fan. But I still would be a baseball fan. I may have been a Sox or an A's fan, but in that moment alone, I'm a little emotional about it because it meant so much to me. But definitely that one moment really just encapsulated everything. So he is in my honorary top five. And actually, my bucket list is to get a Kyle Kendrick jersey because of that moment, because he meant so much in that moment, really. Anyways, that's
You
my
gotta get a
sob
Gabe
story.
Hughes jersey.
I actually think I could get a good one for pretty cheap on eBay.
Mm. He's not a household name, but he's you never know how these things start for people, but it's the
Yeah,
beauty of the game, right? Everybody's got a
this is
role to
how
play.
I became the Batman for Philly.
I'm sure there's a guy who became a Red
Specifically,
Sox
I'm the
fan
George
because of.
Clooney Batman. I am not.
I'm
I
sure
am
there's a
not
guy out
Christian
there that
Bale.
became a Red Sox fan because of fucking Pedro Seriaco or something like that, or
Or Pat Light.
someone's a Cleveland fan because of Kelly Shopik, or
Someone's
whatever.
a White Sox fan because of what's his name? Oh God, Mercedes. I think
You're mean Mercedes.
you mean Mercedes. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean I'm a White Sox fan. My
yeah.
Sox brethren. How could I
You
leave them
you you
behind?
miss Kyle Teal. I know you miss Kyle Teal.
I mean, I never really got to know him. I saw him play a couple of Double A games, but
Do you miss Andrew Benintendi?
I do.
I'm kind of shocked that Tim Wakefield isn't on your list.
I love Tim Wakefield. I would say my brother has more of the Tim Wakefield associated memories, seeing him get his 2000th strikeout.
Yeah,
But
I will say this.
my number
I
five,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, that's right. Shit, I interrupted you. Shit, go ahead.
yeah, my number five. Um, it's tricky because there's a lot of guys that I want to honor being on this list, right? And I'm sure they don't give a shit about my list, obviously, but it means something to me. And there's a lot of names that I think of when I think of a Red Sox pitcher, and I think of like domination, and I think of they had a prolonged stretch of just being an absolute workhorse, a dog, and getting some hardware along the way. Now, Garrett Crochet, he's got a good case of being on this list one day, perhaps replacing Rafael Devers even. Um, a guy like John Lester, I'd love to tip my hat to him. Like I love John Lester, but I never really felt that sort of emotional connection that I did with Josh Beckett when I was growing up. Especially in that '07 season where he won over 20 games and just pitched like an absolute horse in the postseason because that's what he does. That's what Beckett's done in his entire career. Absolute weapon in the postseason. Like just unbelievable stuff. And yeah, so that for that reason, Josh Beckett, absolute gamer. Um, had me begging my mom for an $80 plastic necklace from Olympia Sports because he wore it when I was a kid. So you know
You
the ones
know,
I'm talking about, Max.
oh yeah, I have a similar Josh Beckett thing. I also love Josh Beckett as a kid, and I don't know. Should I show the glove?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let me stand up here. Don't mind the fan back here. It's a room after all.
Oh God, he's
Um,
naked.
Fucking never mind. I'm not gonna say that on the podcast. But yeah, so this is the Josh Beckett glove that not his actual glove, but the same model. This glove has, I mean, you played catch in this glove before. It's falling apart.
Mm,
I've had this glove since the fifth grade. I have had this glove now for 15 fucking years. I remember going to that Olympia Sports, the one specifically in Meredith, New Hampshire. Um, and I saw this glove,
mm,
and it was $100, and I really wanted the glove because my dad knew like the little tiny like little Wilson like one, the cheaper models that they had. It was like definitely for Little League. Wasn't gonna cut it, so he got me this glove because I said I love Josh Beck. He's like, all right, Max, you can take this glove. And this is definitely the pitching glove. You don't see these gloves anymore. Reebok, I don't think makes gloves anymore. Um, this glove is falling apart. It is not fun to play catch in.
mm.
But damn it if it's not broken in. Damn it have I made so many memories with this glove alone. I had it since the fifth grade, and then I had it since junior year of high school when I stopped playing. So that's a solid 10 years, I would say, that I had that glove.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
You wanna
that's why I love it.
you wanna know how old my folks are and how how dedicated to the game I was when I was a kid. For most of my little league career, I used a Tom Seaver model glove that was my uncle's. Yeah, so that was it. Had like a little facsimile autograph, um, in the palm of the glove, which is pretty awesome. Had
Hmm.
like the little one whole finger for like the pitcher's model and all that. So that was really cool. Um, yeah, so I probably played with that for a good few years there. And honestly, it held up. It was a back when we used to make things that held up as a country. That was a fantastic glove, and
I will say this.
yeah.
I think your worst favorite Red Sox player is this person. My least favorite Phillies player is this person. They both play on the same team. Are you ready who I'm going to say?
Uh huh.
Fuck you, Kurt Schilling.
He's not my least favorite.
He's my least favorite for how he treated Wakefield. I mean, let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Oh yeah. Fucking hell.
Regardless of his statements he's made on whatever, any topic. Um, And you can agree with him on whatever topic. I don't care. But the fact that he did that to Wakefield, if you don't know, the people who are listening to this don't know what I'm talking about, just look up Kurt Chillington Wakefield. You know what I mean. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
But I also hated Jake Arrieta
mm,
and Nick Pavetta.
I was. There's one Red Sox player in particular that I'd like to give a shout out to. I have love for all the Red Sox closers that won World Series. Keith Folk, Jonathan
Hmm.
Papelbon, of course Koji Uehara, as I mentioned earlier. But there's one man that
Yeah.
I think we have a shared admiration for, who was both the primary closer for um, teams that have played in the World Series for us, and that's Craig Kimbrell. And quite honestly, I don't think we win the 2018 World Series without him, and I don't think you guys are where you are without him either. Just such a path altering kind of pitcher. He just really elevates these teams and creates creates just like such a lasting memory for the fans that for the teams that he's pitched for. And 2018 Craig Kimbrell was about as locked in as I think he's been through his whole career, and you know if you want to talk about being locked in, I mean, talk about the hitters that we're facing 2023, Craig Kimbrell, because that's about as locked in as any I've seen any hitter in my entire life. That was pretty good, Max. You got to give me that. You got to give me that. Come on, that was that was pretty good.
Craig Kimbrell is a pitcher
Mm-hmm.
in Major League Baseball.
Yep. Not currently, but before, yeah, in the past he has been. Yeah. There you go. Well, Max,
Well, what a way to end it.
yeah, I think we got a ball game to watch here ourselves. So I think that's a good place to call it. So you can go sulk or cry or take a hot bath or whatever you need to do. And you know, this is a lot of fun. I enjoy this sort of like a little bit of an informal, more of sort of like a discussion support group, whatever you want to call it, and
Or
really
therapy.
get some things about our teams off the chests. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's a lot of fun. Hopefully, the people that are watching enjoyed. So yeah, we will see you in the next one. Of course, we are doing 2 a week now. First one of the week is going to be a general baseball discussion. Second one is going to be a might as well get my reaction to this before we leave because I'm sure I'm gonna love whatever this is. Oh, I just got the notification now. Yep, I'm. As soon as I saw that face, though, I knew exactly what happened. And
It's over. We own your pathetic franchise. Woo!
how many guys in scoring position have we had? Seriously, like how many guys in scoring position
Yeah.
have we had? Like we've had
You
so
know,
many
you guys could have had
opportunities.
him. You
We've
did
had
have
so
him,
many
actually. What
opportunities. Like now,
happened?
cut this thing. We're done. See you guys in
All
the
right.
next one. I'm fed up with this shit.
Thank you, everybody.